All right. Welcome to XLR8Live. This is a great opportunity for entrepreneurs to connect. XLR8.org is the network where entrepreneurs are connected with what they want and what they need to succeed. So you go on to XLR8.org, you sign up, and you fill out your profile. It's better if you put a picture. Obviously, people connect to you better. But also, more importantly, that you fill out what you need and what you can help with. And then the platform intelligently connects you to others who either need your help or can help you. So it's a great opportunity for entrepreneurs to connect with mentors, for entrepreneurs to connect with advisors, funders, as well as service providers and service organizations. Also on the platform is content about entrepreneurship. We have some of the finest content that's on the web that we present in the format. So you can stay abreast of all the news about entrepreneurship. This format allows the entrepreneur to present their story, and then we're going to have a community discussion. So we're actually taking the XLR8 platform and making it live, and that's why we call this XLR8Live. First up, we'd like to thank our sponsors. The 9 Network has provided the great crew and the facility and the opportunity for us to be together. So let's thank the 9 Network. Also, our sponsor this week is Washington University Scandalera Center. So thank you, Stacy and the Scandalera Center. So our first presenter is Matthew Lamons, the founder of Schedule. Matthew?
Good morning, everyone. I'm Matt Lamons. I'm the founder of Schedule. Schedule is a communication platform that gives you the intelligent assistance you need to plan, manage, and balance all the activities of your life. We do something cool, and I'm going to talk to you about it today. We turn commitments into interactive content. Schedule works on behalf of a group of people to find the best date, time, and place for any activity. And we basically help you simplify your future. We know that scheduling is a pain. It's frustrating, it's slow, it costs businesses a lot of money because of lost productivity. It happens every day, everywhere, and it's horrible. It went over the top for me when I had this one experience. Let me see if you can relate. So our family likes taking a large family vacation. We pile 15, 18 people in one big house at Lake of the Ozarks or out in the Outer Banks in North Carolina. And we wanted to go find a weekend to go to the lake. 15 people sitting in the living room, took over an hour to find the right date and time. It was ridiculous. So I started watching this and I thought, well, this is crazy. There has to be a better way. And then it dawned on me, the data was in the room, right? Everyone's looking at their phone. And I thought, well, wouldn't it just be easy if I just stacked up all the phones and I could drill down through the phones and find maybe the 1 or 2 weekends that actually would work and say, this is the choice. We can go on this weekend or we can go on this other weekend, and let's not worry about the when we can do it and start talking about the fun things. What are we going to do when we're there? What are the activities we're going to do? How can we make it the best experience ever? We were using tools. The tools we were using made us do more work. They're reminder tools. They tell us what we told the tool, right? Well, that doesn't make any sense. And there's structural problems with these tools. We can't calendar in email, although we try every day. We ask people when they're available and all that kind of stuff. We can't communicate in calendars, although we need to. We're managing everyone else's contact information all the time, and it's ridiculous. So I said, well, what would a solution look like? Once I had this one experience of seeing 15 people take an hour to make a decision, I thought, well, this is a group problem-solving problem. And I had to fix this because I'm seeing it now, not only in my family life, I'm seeing it in my work life when I have to meet with clients or with other business people. And I thought, well, if I'm going to use this, I want this to be cool, and I want this to be something that I'm going to use every day, and it has to meet my criteria. What's my criteria? Well, it has to solve a group problem. This is a group decision problem. It can't just work for me, it has to work for myself and the other people I want to meet with. I need it to be across all the aspects of my life, not just for work, but also for the entertainment activities I want to do, the things in life that I have to take care of, dentist appointments, doctor's appointments, and that kind of stuff. I've already got data. I want it to incorporate data from other platforms. That only makes sense. I want it to be anywhere, on any device, anytime I need it, so it has to be omnipresent, and it's got to be smart. I don't need to be telling my phone everything I want it to do. I expect it to do more, and Schedule, patent pending technology, actually does that. I want to give you just a snapshot of what Schedule is. There's more to it, but this is one of your first experiences of what Schedule is like. The fundamental difference in Schedule is that you create an event by selecting people to add to the event. As you start adding people to the event, you see your calendar. You only see your data. You're not going to see the noise of everyone else's calendar and have to do the work. Schedule is going to do that for you. So as you add more people, you're seeing your commitments, and you're seeing the opportunities between you and these other group of people for when you can get together. You see it in real time. It's pretty slick. Our artificial intelligence gets you to the yes, gets that appointment set or activity set in nothing flat. There's more to interacting with future-related content than just, hey, when are you available? When am I available? Let's set something up. So just like in the example of we were trying to get a group of people together for going to a vacation at the lake, I want to get past when and where something can happen to why is it happening and how can we make it a great experience. Schedule supports that by, like I said, creating interactive content out of commitments. So you got direct messaging in Schedule. You've got location and directions in Schedule. You've got all these other support systems where you want it, exactly where you need it, so that you're talking to the event just like you would expect. So I went out and I said, okay, I see this problem. This problem is driving me crazy. Started talking to people. Do you have this problem? And I hear things like, you're going to save me years of my life. Dedrick Carter, Vice Chancellor of WashU, I talked to him for 2 or 3 minutes. He says, my gosh, I've got all these activities. I've got my work commitments. I got the university commitments. I got family commitments. I can't go through 5 or 6 calendars every time somebody wants to do something with me to find out if I'm available. Schedule intelligence would do that for me, and it's going to be awesome. When we look at how do we take this technology and apply it to the market, how do we get it into the market, how do we gain traction? At Schedule, our focus is on the individual. We're going to impress the individual at the individual level first, because you have to love Schedule because we want you to use it daily. We think it's a daily value for you. But we want to incorporate Schedule into known interaction sets. Groups of people that have known interactions and they need to meet, they need to organize activities with one another. And so even though our focus is on the individual, they're clusters and groups because we are social people. We want to connect. We have to have this content where we're engaging with one another. And so organizations like Accelerate, and I'll show you a little bit about what we're planning for Accelerate. WashU and Edward Jones are key to our growth. Some of those communities are online. Some of those are offline. If you're online, you can incorporate Schedule API and start doing things like an Accelerate. Paul mentioned that you can connect with other entrepreneurs and other mentors. Well, you can follow those people. Well, imagine if you had a schedule button and you can start connecting with those people, planning real activities, and engaging in real life that way. Our business model, our initial way of we're making money with subscriptions at the individual level and the enterprise level. Individuals, you can use Schedule for free. If you want enhanced features at the family level or pro levels. Startups are a team sport. It's all about gathering together the right people to help you achieve the goal. The development team is working on our iOS app that will be beta testing later on in the year. That's Schedule. Schedule turns commitments into interactive content. It works on behalf of a group of people to find the best date, time, and place for any activity. It's out there to simplify your future, and I look forward to your questions.
So it seems like for a Schedule to work most effectively, you need like a critical mass of people who are already using the app. So how do you plan to get like a critical mass of people?
It's a great question. What you're asking is, when does the network effect come into play in Schedule? Schedule actually has the lowest bar for network effect requirements. Schedule actually works with 2 people. You don't have to have, you can interact with people who are non-members of Schedule, and our artificial intelligence engine actually still works for that. They could be members, or they don't have to be members. But our network effect requirements are very low. Yeah, it's not that you have to have 100 people before it starts working. It's more efficient, but it's not a requirement. It's a great question, very good question.
Last summer I worked in an office, a corporate office, and I noticed that everyone used Outlook in order to schedule meetings because everybody's calendar is on the same thing. In a corporate setting where people's work schedules are all the same, that is, they don't have their personal stuff on their work how would you make your plea?
What happens now, and the way people are trying to solve the problem now, is they've got multiple calendars. So they divide their life. They have their work calendar that they have to share. They may actually have a second work calendar, which is their own activities that they don't want to share with the work group or with their supervisors, what have you. The result of this is you can't make accurate decisions because not all the data is present. It can't be acted on, right? The fundamental difference in schedule is no one sees your calendar. And so you can have all this data in one place, right? So you can have your life, you can have your personal life, your entertainment activities, you can have your work activities, all in one place that you see, and it's only available to you, and you share individual pieces of that with other folks if you choose to.
So are you saying it connects to people's calendars?
Yes, you can load schedule with your Google contacts and commitments, with your Outlook 365 contacts and commitments, and in the future, and as well as iOS, iCal data.
How does the user experience increase going from the base free model to the where you start paying for the app?
Right. At our different pay points, really what you're getting are administrative rights over other content or other individuals. At the first level is the family plan. So parents need to schedule on behalf of their children doctor's appointments. They want to have visibility for sporting activities, games, and that kind of stuff, as well as a place to share content. So you can imagine there's a lot of interaction in terms of I've got commitments and activities that I want to engage in. Other people aren't engaged in them, but I want them to be aware of it. Where do you go to set, see, and share future-related content? You're going to go to schedule. So most of that is only going to be visible to yourself, but there's going to be a lot of times when you want to share those types of things. Pro feature sets are, you can create additional asset identities for meeting rooms, equipment, and that kind of stuff, and you can manage those assets. One of our use cases is the cases of realtors. Realtors have a number of houses that they have listings for. Well, you can create a unique schedule identity for each one of those houses that organizes the known parties, the sellers of the house, and the listing agent, and it helps people who want to see that house engage and make appointments.
How do you see relationships with universities developing? Is it more of working with the employees of the university for them to use schedule, or is this a relationship that could eventually push out schedule to students, or how does that work with universities?
I think it's both. WashU wants to incorporate us into 6 departments late this summer and early as the semester starts. And they're looking for it for their administration right now. But WashU also wants a schedule for student activities, as well as an alumni association website where they have alumni trying to connect with one another for business purposes.
Are there any plans to connect with bigger reservation companies like OpenTable to onboard them and to partner with them so that you can, match your calendar with restaurants, for example, or doctor's appointments? Do you have any plans to do that?
That's an excellent question. Schedule is about making connections, and our API, the API that we showed you that Accelerate could take advantage of, is also being designed to be taken advantage of and participating by other marketplaces. People marketplaces. And you think of them like OpenTable is one, Angie's List would be another one.
So you mentioned before when we were talking about network effects that Schedule can access calendars that aren't a part of the Schedule network. Are there any concerns about privacy if you're accessing a calendar that maybe they haven't approved use of your program or your app?
And we only access calendars for people who are members. So we will never look at someone's calendar without their permission because we can't. And we wouldn't do that, right? Schedule is a tool for our members to simplify their future. When we say that we look at calendars, people are sending their data to us to be acted on, and it's with their permission, with their controls, right? We're so focused on privacy, we'll never show your calendar to somebody. I don't want to know the noise. I don't want to know what somebody did the hour before I meet with them or the hour afterwards, because that's not important to me. I don't need to know that part. I need to know when can I meet with somebody and get that part of the process out of the way so I can focus on making sure that appointment, that meeting, that shared time is valuable for both of us, or the group of us.
Thank you, Matt, very much.
Thank you very much.
All right. So now, as the part of our program, where we have an organizational spotlight, and we thought since this is the first Accelerate Live, we would have Rick DeRee, the founder, explain what Accelerate really is. Rick, welcome.
Thanks, Paul. Accelerate, what it does is intelligently matches you based on what you need and what you're doing, not on who you know, because guess what? We don't know enough people. We don't know who we don't know. So we connect you based on what you're doing and what you need. You go online, you put in your information, and then we take your members who are coming to your site and we connect them however you wish them to be connected. In this case, it's entrepreneurially focused. We have 10 companies that are working with us right now across the country, including the National Business Incubator Association. We have major clients that are using us to embed into their website to connect their members. Because discovery is the hard push. Discovery is what really needs to happen today to find the right people. And if you can put up there what you need, somebody's going to pick you up. And we want to bring that intelligent matching to your site and to your organization, to your group, to your university, so we can bring people together easier instead of having to sit next to somebody at softball games, which can be fun, but that's not the solution for the future, I don't think.
Next presenter, Andrew and Aiden from FoodShare. Please make them welcome.
Hi everyone, my name is Andrew Glantz and this is Aiden Folby and we are the co-founders of FoodShare. Thanks for taking the time to listen to our presentation today and learn about our mobile app.
So Andrew and I met about a year ago while we interned at Navitas Capital, a venture capital firm in Los Angeles. Both Andrew and I have a lot of entrepreneurial experience. For the past 2 years, Andrew has run a storefront on campus, on WashU's campus called Swap, Sharing with a Purpose. And for the past 4 years, I have run a sustainable and successful business called Bagel Boys Delivery. The idea of FoodShare came about while we were on a lunch break last summer, and we were eating at a small Italian restaurant, and it was fairly empty. So naturally, as entrepreneurs, we started brainstorming about how we could fill those empty seats with customers in a cheap and effective way. So what we came up with was an all-in-one referral application. So that was back in July. And since then, we've done a lot of development. We did a soft launch in April with Loop restaurants signed on, 10, and we marketed mostly to WashU students. We concluded that we weren't incentivizing users enough to use the app. So we decided to do a new model, and since then, we've raised $3,500 on a successful Kickstarter campaign, and we've partnered with Operation Food Search. We have 25 restaurants signed on.
So under our new business model, whenever a FoodShare app user goes to one of our 25 listed restaurants, then they can take a photo of their food, and then we donate a meal to somebody in need through one of our FoodShare partners, such as Operation Food Search. The user can also recommend the restaurants to their friends, and if their friend goes and buys something at the restaurant, then we donate another meal to somebody in need. This is what the app looks like. So as you can see, it's pretty easy to use. You select the restaurant, take a photo of your food, and you can write a written recommendation for your friend to suggest them an item to eat, maybe a specific table to have or time of day to go, and that all gets sent to your friends. Then you can select which charity you want the meal to be donated to. As Aiden said, we are currently partnered with Operation Food Search and are looking for a couple more partnerships as well. Then another feature that we have is that you can actually share this photo of your food on Facebook. So that would have the restaurant tagged and show that you donated a meal to someone in need through Operation Food Search to help show that you supported a good cause. And it's just like to show photos of your food.
So there are two main groups that benefit from FoodShare, the restaurants and the users. The restaurants benefit because we enhance their brand image. Restaurants love the idea that they can now brag about how many meals they've donated and compare with other restaurants about that. Another thing is we provide restaurants with new customers. Our social referral program is a great way for friends to refer friends to other restaurants and find places to eat. Another thing is there's zero setup and integration for restaurants. All they need to do is provide us with a logo and we handle the rest. Users, on the other hand, love FoodShare for many reasons, one of which is the ability to donate without having to spend money on donations, rather just a meal. Another thing is trusted referrals. Instead of reading vague and public recommendations to restaurants on Yelp, they're seeing things that their friends like. Try this, try that. Another thing is the social component. Users can compare with other users about how many meals they've donated and the impact they've had on the community.
So as Aiden was saying, people really like to be active on social media, so we thought it was really important to incorporate that into the FoodShare app. So there's a couple of main ways that we think we really appeal to this type of user. The first way is through people showing support for causes they believe in through social media. A lot of times people post about different charities they support or different causes or they do things like posting videos, like for the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge. The problem with a lot of these posts is that they don't actually get money donated to the causes in a lot of cases. A lot of times, people like to raise awareness, but they don't actually want to reach into their pockets and donate their own money. FoodShare solves this problem. It makes posting and donating one and the same. Whenever you post on social media about FoodShare and the photo of your food, then you also are donating a meal to somebody in need through FoodShare. Then the second reason that people are going to like it on social media is through the photos of your food. So when you share the photo of your food on Facebook, then that's going to be that personalized message saying you donated a meal. So we've all either seen someone at a restaurant taking a photo of their food. I know I do it all the time. My friends criticize my Instagram a little bit too much, in my opinion, for having a lot of food photos. But it's something that we like to do. It's natural. A lot of millennials do it. And we turn that very natural phenomenon into something that you get to donate a meal to somebody in need. So we're just taking advantage of that natural fact and turning that into you making a positive difference in your community. So when looking across all the different companies in the restaurant industry, you might recognize some names like Yelp, Zagat, Belly, and we think that we're a lot different. So with discovery apps like Yelp and Zagat, we found that these reviews just weren't trustworthy enough. 16% of Yelp reviews were fake, and across these top platforms like Yelp, Zagat, TripAdvisor, ranging from 41 to 54% of users didn't actually trust the reviews on these sites. FoodShare walks in and says, hey, we're going to give you personalized, trusted recommendations, as opposed from saying you're supposed to trust this random review, which may or may not be real. Then, when looking across loyalty apps, which are basically punch cards at restaurants that are electronic on your phone, as well as small email referral companies, we found that these were too individualized of an experience, and they don't lack that social element that we really think is key. Also, they only focused on customer retention for loyalty apps instead of customer acquisition, which is 7 times more valuable for a restaurant.
Another company FoodShare likes to look at is Mogul. Mogul is a loyalty app that's very expensive and mostly applies to the high-end restaurants. In the past 5 years, Mogul's raised $42.5 million, and what they do is they give users 5 to 10% cash back when they go and dine at the participating restaurants. Also, when you go to that restaurant and you spend more than $20, they'll donate a meal on your behalf. FoodShare, on the other hand, will always donate a meal no matter how much you spend at a restaurant. In addition, whereas Mogul is an individualized experience, FoodShare is more social, where you can recommend the restaurants with friends.
We already have 25 restaurants signed on, and restaurants really love the pivot to the new business model. So in addition to being branded as socially conscious, restaurants like that we kept in that recommendation aspect that Mogul and other companies lack. So right now, the way that restaurants get the most customers is through word-of-mouth referrals. Other advertising and magazines, they don't really have high ROI. But the problem with word-of-mouth referrals is that you forget about it. Whenever your friend recommends a restaurant to you, you might want to go to find a restaurant a few weeks later, but you forget about that referral. FoodShare takes those word-of-mouth recommendations, digitalizes them, and stores them all in an easy-to-use app. Then, when you're walking down the street thinking, okay, where do I want to go to eat today? You can see which restaurants have I been recommended to that are closest to me, which photos of the food look the best, and what have my friends said about them. So then you can really find out where you want to go. This delivers very high value to the restaurants, and as Mark Zuckerberg said, a trusted referral is the holy grail of advertising. Thank you for listening to our presentation. We're now open to any questions you guys may have, and you guys can all download the app and check out our Kickstarter if you want. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Andrew. So something all of us do, go to restaurants, so great. Anybody have a question or a thought?
Would you say like your primary way of income to like sustain yourself, is that through like a fee by the restaurant, or does it cost money to download the app? Or
Right, good question. So right now, we're always going to want to keep this way. The app is free for users and there's no ads. The revenue is going to be coming from the restaurants. Right now, the restaurants are on a free trial, especially since we aren't on this business model yet. We're still on the referrals for cash rewards. And then once we launch the new business model, we're going to be signing restaurants on for a monthly fee. Currently, when we've been trying to get feedback from restaurant owners, the first initial number that we're going to do is $25 a month, which is a drop in the bucket in terms of their overall marketing expenses. Mogul, on the other hand, costs $200 a month. Their founder likes to say that they're the Lamborghini of loyalty apps. We want to be the Honda Civic of referral apps. We think that's also, we're opening the target market. We don't want to limit ourselves to that type of restaurants. We think we deliver the most value to these mom and pop restaurants, and we've gotten commitments from restaurants saying that this would be something that they would want to sign up for. And we would also potentially have different tiers for restaurants where they could get slightly different improved services from FoodShare and different marketing techniques. And then also we would have charging more if some restaurants were getting a lot of traction on FoodShare and a lot of users, because then if the donation money outweighs the money that we're being paid by the restaurant.
How do you transport the meal from the restaurant to the organization you're donating to?
Right, so we're not taking a physical meal from that restaurant. So though we like to think we're similar to a Tom Shoes model, it isn't like the physical shoe that you buy is going to somebody else. So when we partner with Operation Food Search, when we say we're donating a meal, we're donating the money equivalent of a meal to Operation Food Search, and then they're donating that meal to a food pantry.
So right now your app is only available on the iPhone, is that correct?
That is correct.
Do you guys have plans to expand into Android apps?
Yes, we do. Once we conquer the iPhone market and we, conquer the St. Louis area and we have enough money to go into Android, we plan on doing that.
If we got some more donations to our Kickstarter, we could start a little sooner.
So in terms of the photo sharing, where you upload a photo and then a meal is shared, what sort of protection is there from, someone uploading a bunch of photos? Is there some sort of location thing, or how is that going to be protected?
Exactly as you said, we're using location services. We're only going to require location for the users while the app is open. So a lot of people don't want to always have location services on. And so in order to get to the next step of using the FoodShare app, when you take the photo of your food, you have to be in the restaurant.
So a lot of people on my newsfeed, they share a lot of stuff that I don't care about, and it's branded. So is that are the photos that people can share, are those going to be the branded?
FoodShare doesn't plan on having our name in bold and huge. What we really care about is that the restaurant is getting attention from Facebook users, as well as the food being shared and whether the user wants to say, I donated a meal today. So FoodShare doesn't really plan on being a big, all over your Facebook wall.
Is the idea, as you guys think about expanding into other, large cities, other markets, to constantly stay with those mom and pop shops, or are there ideas to also partner with larger chains that span throughout different large cities?
Good question. So we think we deliver the most value to mom and pop shops. We are open to partnerships with chain restaurants and for restaurants of all different scale. So for instance, we signed on our first coffee shop, Blueprint Coffee, a couple weeks back. And then in terms of larger chains, we've been in talks with one chain in St. Louis that has 7 locations. And we're looking to move them along the pipeline in about a month to have them officially on the app when we're working out some kinks on the back end. And then we also have a meeting next week with a restaurant that has 3 locations that we're planning on bringing on board as well.
Are there plans to expand to Instagram instead of Facebook? Because I know a lot of people are really into food photos on Instagram, not so much Facebook.
Yes, so don't make fun of us for this. We actually have an 11-tier plan for the rollout for the next 2 years that's going to change, but that is tier 4. We are working on tiers 1 and 2 right now. So hopefully we could expand to Instagram before this time next year.
It's a startup. I hope those tiers are on a dry erase board.
Yeah, but we're also thinking this is kind of our minimum viable product so that we can test it out, see if there's any big business model changes we want.
What stops Mogul from incorporating the ideas that you all say that you have a competitive edge on?
Mom and pop restaurants can't really afford to give up $200 of their marketing budget a month for Mogul. And also when you use Mogul, you get 5 to 10% cash back. And that's a deal that they have worked out with restaurants, and they take a 3% fee of that.
Then also, we don't see Mogul changing to the recommendation model, since it would shake up their business model too much, whereas right now they kind of have had this steady growth under their current model. So they're in the loyalty space, we're in the referral space. It's 2 separate markets.
Thank you guys very much.
Great.
Excellent.
Thank you.
So we hope you enjoyed XLR8Live. If you haven't joined the platform, go to XLR8.org and join so that you can be intelligently connected to what you need and what you can help with. Thank you very much.
All right.